job. Thank you, Bree. Appreciate it. At this time, I'll have the City Clerk, Beth Davis, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright.
Here.
Commissioner Larry Maglinger.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Mark Caslen.
Here.
Commissioner Bob Glenn.
Here. Thank you. If you are able to stand for the pledge and the invocation, we'll ask Commissioner Bob Glenn to pray. Lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear gracious and heavenly Father, we celebrate the opportunity to gather in a democratic nation and as a wonderful, beautiful city on the river to deliberate over issues of importance to our community and our citizens. Yesterday, we celebrated the birthday of Martin Luther King. Let us hope that in the midst of this meeting, we reflect his ideals of equality and justice and love for all and service to our community. Let this meeting and our actions beyond this meeting be reflective of that. But most importantly, let us never forget the dream of promoting a community and a state and a world in which everyone is treated fairly and equitably and has access to social justice. We want to thank you for the blessings of living in this wonderful community of Owensboro, Kentucky. Bless all of our city employees for the great work they do. And more importantly, let us each take value in living on this beautiful city on a river. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
And now let's turn to the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. City of Owensboro Proclamation. Whereas the Davis County High School cheer team earned its third straight regional championship in the 2022 KHSAA Competitive Cheer Regional Competition, which was held at Owensboro High School on November the 5th. And whereas, under the leadership and guidance of Coach Kitty Galloway, Assistant Coach Sally Ward, and Tracy, help me. Good job. The team advanced to the state competition and competed with confidence and strength. Whereas the Davis County cheer team brought home the championship trophy in the 2022 KHSAA State Competitive Cheer Championship in the Game Day Large Division, which was held in Winchester, Kentucky on December the 9th. Whereas the DCHS cheer team will represent Owensboro in the 2023 UCA National High School Cheerleading Championship, which will take place in Orlando next month. Whereas the Owensboro Board of Commissioners congratulates Davis County High School cheer team members for their accomplishments that they have achieved with their hard work, dedication, perseverance, and love to cheer. Now for I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim January the 17th, 2023 as Davis County High School Cheer Team Day in Owensboro, and encourage all citizens to join in wishing the 22-23 Davis County High School Cheer Team the best of luck as they move on to compete at the national level. Signed and sealed this 17th day of January, 2023. There
Really?
You don't have something written?
Oh, just say thank you.
On behalf of the Davis County Cheer Team, we would like to thank you for presenting us with this today.
Thank you.
Now you have to stay for the rest of the meeting.
No, you don't.
Get out of here. Thank you. Y'all come and see us again.
Good luck. Yeah. Yeah, come back when you win the national. Yeah.
See you. Bye-bye.
I got to do the ding ding.
What'd you even say? This order.
Wait, I said I now call this meeting to order.
Now. Yes. Oh, me too.
Excellent. She was completely prepared.
Mark, where are all those people you were talking about? Where are all of those people you were talking about?
Go on with the agenda, item 5, business 5A. I'd like for you to consider approval of the minutes dated December 13th and December 20th, 2022, and January 3 and January 10, 2023. I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion from the dais? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, consider these board appointments, please. Owensboro Area Shelter and Information Services Board appoint Claude Porter to a 3-year term effective January 17th, 2023. Seven Hills Neighborhood Alliance reappoint Melinda Schoenwald. Can I go on now? Yes. Okay. To a 2-year term effective February 17th, 2023. I'll make a motion to approve these board appointments. Could I have a second, please? Second. Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, ordinance, second reading. Ms. Davis. This will be a roll call vote.
Yes. Ordinance 3-2023, an ordinance of the City of Owensboro, Kentucky, authorizing the issuance of its City of Owensboro, Kentucky General Obligation Bonds, Series 2023A, the approximate aggregate principal amount of $35,350,000, which amount may be increased by up to $3,535,000 or decreased by any amount, for the purpose of financing the cost of the acquisition, construction, installation, and equipping of 1, an indoor sports complex, 2, a training center for the Owensboro Fire Department, 3, fire station repairs and improvements for the Owensboro Fire Department, and 4, various other community development projects. Approving the forms of the bonds, authorizing designated officers to execute and deliver the bonds, authorizing and directing the filing of a notice or notices with the state local debt officer, providing for the payment and security of the bonds, establishing a bond payment fund for the bonds, affirming the existing sinking fund, authorizing the acceptance of the bid of the purchaser for the bonds, and repealing inconsistent ordinances. Read for approval on second reading the 17th day of January, 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager, do you have anything to say?
Mayor, we've discussed these
That's all.
projects multiple times, so unless there are questions, I think we're ready to proceed.
Okay, any discussion from the dais? Hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Smith-Wright,
Aye.
Commissioner Maglinger,
Yes.
Mayor Watson,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Caslin,
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion approved. Item 6B, please, Ms. Davis.
Ordinance 4-2023, an ordinance amending the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2022, and ending June 30, 2023, and amending Ordinance 8-2022 to provide for bond issuance and related projects, updated infrastructure and servers for the 911 telephone system, various other items needed by the police department provided for by the state and federal drug funds, corrections to CDBG and home funds, additional funding and appropriations in transit, and to provide for commission-approved incentives. Read for approval on second reading the 17th day of January, 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager, do you have any comments?
Just briefly, Mayor, we did discuss these in more detail at our last meeting. I would just like to point out for your reminder and for the public's understanding that now with this budget amendment, there will be final approval of the various projects. We just approved the bond, and so this approves the receipt and the expenditure of funds for those projects. And so just wanted everyone to understand this is final approval.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we will have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Maglinger?
Yes.
Mayor Watson?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Caslen?
Yes.
Commissioner Glenn?
Yes.
Commissioner Smith-Wright?
Aye.
Thank you. Item 7A, please.
Ordinance 5-2023, an ordinance amending Chapter 25, Article 4, Division 1, Section 25-118 of the Owensboro Municipal Code to include parking within 5 feet of a driveway. Read for approval on one reading the 17th day of January, 2023.
Thank you. City Manager?
Thank you, Mayor. The city has an existing parking ordinance that prohibits parking on a crosswalk, within an intersection, within 10 feet of a mailbox, within 10 feet of a fire hydrant, and blocking a fire station. Further, state law restricts a parked vehicle from blocking a public or private driveway, among other state parking restrictions. However, blocking a driveway entirely and ensuring unfettered access are two different considerations. We've received several complaints about vehicles parking at the very edge or corner of a driveway. In this scenario, the driveway isn't blocked as prohibited in state law. However, motorists have had difficulty accessing in or out the driveways because cars are parked so close to the various corner. As a result, this ordinance is first reading of an amendment that prohibits parking within 5 feet of a driveway. Again, the intent is to ensure motorists have reasonable ingress and egress into driveways. So essentially, Mayor, it would provide a setback of 5 foot from the corner that would be restricted or no parking 5 feet from any driveway.
Will the curbs be marked yellow or?
I do not anticipate that we would mark that.
Okay.
It would be an immense
We only have
undertaking.
5,000 of them.
Right.
So, okay.
It would essentially provide some type of enforceable action should there be a vehicle that would refuse to move. And so again, there's certain areas where it's just difficult because of parking on either side of a driveway, and if they're parking on the other side of the street as well, sometimes folks may have difficulty maneuvering in and out of their driveways.
I can think of one place in particular. Any other discussion? There will be no vote. Item 8, Municipal Order.
Municipal Order 4-2023, a municipal order authorizing and directing the mayor to execute an application for a Kentucky Transportation Cabinet Office of Highway Safety grant in the amount of $45,000, the proceeds of which will enable the Owensboro Police Department to provide overtime traffic enforcement during specific mobilizations within the city of Owensboro to enhance public safety. No cash match being required by the city. Read for approval on one reading the 17th day of January, 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager?
Just to summarize, this municipal order authorizes a grant agreement, or grant application, for $45,000 for overtime for the police department for traffic enforcement, including click it or ticket, speed weeks, and drive sober or get pulled over and similar mobilizations. We do apply for this grant every year, and no match is required from the city.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8B, please.
Municipal Order 5-2023, A municipal order declaring the properties located at 1601 East 19th Street and 1727 Bluff Avenue as surplus properties, and authorizing the mayor to execute real estate purchase agreements and deeds conveying the properties. Read for approval on one reading the 17th day of January 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager?
This municipal order declares surplus and authorizes the transfer of property at 1601 East 19th, which is the property toward the bottom of your screen, and also 1727 Bluff Avenue. They'll be declared surplus and transferred to L&S Homes. The southernmost property there at the bottom on East 19th was acquired for improvements, I think a widening to Bluff Avenue, while the northernmost property at 1727 Bluff was acquired for blight elimination. So I assume then the city in the past demolished a dilapidated structure there. The purpose that the properties were acquired has been fulfilled, so the properties were made available for bid. L&S Homes submitted the best and only bid. For example, L&S Home owns the property neighboring the East 19th property. So declares surplus and authorizes the sale to the best bid received.
Has L&S Homes stated what they're going to do with the property?
I do not know, Mayor.
Me neither. Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 8C, Ms. Davis.
Municipal Order 6-2023, a municipal order awarding a non-exclusive franchise for a term of 10 years for a telecommunications system to Open Fiber Kentucky Company, LLC. Read for approval on one reading the 17th day of January 2023.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve this. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
City Manager, please.
State Constitution requires the city have franchise agreements with companies who use city right-of-way for their business. For example, we have existing franchise agreements with Spectrum, Atmos, and Kenergy, and those types of services. For their infrastructure, Assistant City Manager Leland Hancock and City Attorney Mark Pfeiffer worked on this issue, and Mark will brief the commission.
Thank you, Nate. If you'll recall, on May 17 of last year, you all passed an ordinance which provided for a 10-year non-exclusive telecom franchise in Owensboro. It was an update. It was an update from a 2005 ordinance, and basically that franchise ordinance covers everything that a company would need to do to provide services, telecom services in Owensboro, and that covers internet, data transmission, but it does not affect cable. The only other requirement was that a company enter into pole location agreements with OMU or whatever entity owned a particular pole that they wanted to attach to. After you all passed that ordinance, we submitted it for bid, and the only company that responded was Open Fiber Kentucky. They made a submission, and the engineering department approved that submission, and so now you are basically approving an award of the franchise to them. The franchise agreement itself merely says that Open Fiber Kentucky must comply with the ordinance previously passed.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Commissioner Smith-Wright?
Is there a reason why, or do you know why we only had one company to
I don't know
bid?
that. There was another company, Windstream, that was interested at one point in time, but they never followed through even after we noticed them. So I don't know the answer to that.
Mark, I do believe this is a non-exclusive franchise, so there'll be an opportunity later if another entity expressed interest, we could bid
Absolutely.
that again and allow other businesses to provide a similar service.
That's correct.
Anything else, City Manager? Okay. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, City Manager items. I'd like to, City Manager item, you go ahead.
Thank you. First, we'll have the December financial report from Angela Waninger.
Ms. Waniger.
Yes, Mayor and Commission. I'm here to present to you the financial report for December 31, 2022, which means we're 6 months or halfway into our fiscal year at this point. So with that, my PowerPoint presentation will be speaking to the general fund activity, and we'll talk about the month of and the 6 months ended December. You can refer to page 3 of your financial packet for more detail. So for our first slide, for the month of December, actual revenues of $4,480,384 were less than budgeted revenues of $4,552,453, resulting in a variance of $72,069. This variance is primarily due to lower property taxes and occupational withholding. The next slide is for the 6 months year-to-date ended December. Total actual revenues of $37,770,828 were higher than budgeted revenues of $36,136,896 for a positive variance of $1,633,932. This variance is primarily due to higher property tax, higher occupational withholding, net profit, and insurance license fees. It's fair to say we're doing very well.
I like hearing that.
For our next slide, it's for the single month of December. The actual expenditures of $6,197,714 were higher than the budgeted expenditures of $5,552,660 for a variance of $645,054. This is primarily due to timing in maintenance and outside services. And the next slide, four or five slides, this is for the 6 months ended or year-to-date December. Actual expenditures of $33,059,173 were less than the budgeted expenditures of $34,811,671 for a variance of $1,752,498. This variance is primarily due to maintenance, outside services, and capital. And I'll mention that there is a permanent variance in personnel services for vacancies, and that amount is $174,700. So for the fifth and the last slide, this shows the revenues in green and the expenditures in red by month, and you can see that they're cyclical. And for our viewing audience, as you can see just how cyclical they can be in just 6 months. This is the nature of the finances here at the city. Expenses typically outpace revenues in the warmer months when outdoor activities are in full swing. Likewise, we have months where revenues outpace expenditures, such as in the month of October and November, where you can see the green line spiking up, and this is due to the collection of property taxes. If anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Any questions from the dais? Commissioner Glenn.
So the only question so the expense actually trails up. What would you say the biggest contributor to that slight uptick was for December?
The slight uptick in December from November?
Yes, ma'am.
I would have to have my November financials here in front of me.
That's okay.
It could be that there's 3 pay periods, maybe. Sometimes there's 3 pay periods. Timing of expenditures. I'm not sure. I would have to look.
I think the 3 pay periods, that's, now that I think about it, I bet that's the biggest contributor.
Yeah, we also had the payout of our attendance incentive, I believe, was that in December, possibly. So without looking at the details, that much I know.
Well, the 3 pays
head.
make sense. That is probably as much as anything else. Thank you so much.
You're
Good job, as
Thank you.
always.
Thank
you for your great work.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll make a motion to file for the report for audit. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. 9B, City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, personnel appointments for tonight. Tina Lynch, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointment to Recreation Facilities Manager with the Parks and Recreation Department effective January 30th. Jacob Begay and David Haynes, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointments to firefighter with the Fire Department effective February 6th. Corey Axton, Kieron Catlett, and Jacob Pace, probationary full-time, non-civil service appointments to police officer with the Police Department effective February 13th, contingent upon successful completion of all post-offer pre-employment requirements. And for regular status, Matthew Sissel, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to lieutenant with the fire department effective January 16th. Elizabeth Moore, regular full-time non-civil service appointment to bus driver with transit effective January 26th. Mark Lusk and Lauren Yance, regular full-time non-civil service appointments to sergeant with the police department effective January 30th. And then Billy Carter and Derek Sutton, regular full-time non-civil service appointments to officer with the police department effective January 19th. The mayor does occasionally come up on those contingent appointments for, and that is really an issue of timing. Sometimes we've not been able to get the employees or potential employees into Owensboro Health for their required testing. Sometimes the testing has occurred, we just don't have the results, so it just depends on myriad reasons, but it's really just a function of timing. If they were to fail any of those pre-employment requirements, then they would not be appointed to their positions.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Have I made the motion yet already? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve these appointments. Could I have a second, please? Second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Good job, Chief. Item 9C, City Manager comments.
No additional comments.
Thank you. Item 10, communication from elected officials. Commissioner Castler. Thank you, Mayor. You're welcome.
Yes, I just wanted to congratulate Samantha Buford Payne and my daughter-in-law Lori Buford Castlin for choreographing the winning routine in the Owensboro lip sync battle with RWRA as their crowd that followed it. They did a great job, and they helped raise a record $208,510 for puzzle pieces, which is a new record. I also got to attend the NAACP Martin Luther King event on Sunday at Zion Missionary Baptist Church. They had some great speakers there, and they also honored Travis Owsley for Beverly's Hearty Slice, which has done so much for the community and will be expanding to 3 states in the near future, hopefully. I was not able to make it to the march on Monday due to an injury by my daughter, Katie. She had a bike wreck and was injured, but she's going to be okay, but it's a pretty serious injury. And also, I wanted to let the public know that there will be an art show for Black History Month at the Davis County Public Library. Of course, it'll cover the whole month of February. It's open to all artists, and you can fill out an application and submit your artwork at the library. So contact the Davis County Public Library to do that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Maglinger.
Thank you. I attended the Martin Luther King Jr. ceremony yesterday at Brescia, and I'll tell you that keynote speaker was great. It was really, really good, great information, and also I heard one of the best piano solos I think I've heard in a long time.
She was great, Ms. Jordan.
Unbelievable. So anyway, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Commissioner Glenn.
Just want to affirm, I thought the NAACP's event was amazing on Sunday, and I'm glad Travis got recognized. He always deserves, he and his team, recognition for the great work they're doing with Beverly's Hearty Slice. The speaker that we had did the walk, and that was with the best crowd we've ever had. I mean, I've walked that thing probably 12 or 13 years, and it was an amazing crowd both there and then in the facility. And the speaker, I think it's important to remember where he's coming from, the son of a woman who was gunned down in church while they were having a Bible study. And I've talked about this in some of the sermons I've given. They went up to this young man, Dylan Roof, during his preliminary hearing in North Carolina, and they forgave him. They said, "We don't understand why you did it. We forgive you." And I think that that is always the theme that Dr. King and the approach he took toward nonviolent movement toward changing the world and global view of civil rights. So it was a good week. Thank you to the NAACP, and thank you to the Human Resources Commission, Relations Commissions rather, for their work.
Commissioner Smith-Wright.
Yes, I too went to the NAACP service on Sunday, and I just would like to thank all the organizations that take the time to put this on every year for Martin Luther King, because it's important for our city to recognize that we all should be one, and we all have to live here together in peace and harmony. So that's it.
Thank you. I attended most of these things everybody's talking about, but Mr. Singleton was he was pretty impressive, 27-year-old young man, and his great statement I thought out of the whole thing was, you know, I'm here to talk to you because you might not look like me. And that really resonated with me, because that's sometimes what happens in our community and in my life as well, you know, that you sometimes shy away from people that don't look like you. And his advice was to go up and tell somebody that doesn't look like you to tell them that you love them. And he was very impressive. I'm tickled to death of their selection for him, because he didn't beat you to death. He just made you think. And I thought it was very impressive. And we had a good crowd, very, very well-attended group. I didn't make the walk because it took another half hour for me to make that walk, Bob, so I met him. I met him at Brescia, and I want to thank Father Larry for allowing us to have this program at Brescia, because it was really important. Also, I want to talk about the people, the police officers in this country that are being gunned down by criminals. And I don't think we're so blessed to have a wonderful police department and a great chief that sometimes we don't think about what they do every day. And I think it behooves us as elected officials to make sure that every time we see a police officer in performing their duties, to thank them for what they're doing, because if you can imagine what our country and what our communities would be like if we did not have a police department. So thank you, Chief Elam, and your staff and all the people that perform the duties for us, and we're very appreciative of the way you choose your police officers and how you train them to be a part of our community. So thank you, sir. Okay. 72, so I probably forgot what else I was going to say, so we'll move on to open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that is not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission. Commission meetings are held to conduct business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and the taxpayers. At this time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium, be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the clerk's record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from city staff or the commission, and the mayor reserves the right to extend the time of the speaker. So if anybody would like to come to the podium and speak, we give you the opportunity at this point. Nobody? Okay. We have no one who wishes to speak, so I'll make a motion to adjourn this commission. Could I have a second? Second. Any discussion about getting out of here? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned.